first period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. And by Papa John's. The day after every Flyers win, get 50% off your online order at papajohns.com using promo code FLYERS.
Welcome back to Columbus, Ohio, where the Philadelphia Flyers and the Columbus Blue Jackets will meet again for the second time in 48 hours. Let's take a look at our key starting goaltenders. For Philadelphia, it's Ray Emery that will get the start, his first since the difficult loss to the Chicago Blackhawks going back a few games ago. And for Columbus, it's Curtis McElhinney looking to try to recover after the difficult defeat at the hands of the Philadelphia Flyers in that 5-goal third period just a couple of days ago.
And so we are ready to go here in Columbus. The Flyers trying to sweep this home-and-home series. They're 3-0-1 now in their last 4. They have not won in their last 4 road games, though. But Sean Couturier and gang hoping to get things going on the road here tonight. They will be without Nick Grossman as well as Steve Downey here tonight. Grossman out with the flu, and so Hal Gill gets back in the lineup. And, of course, Vincent Lecavalier, as mentioned in the open, back here tonight as well.
Yeah, Craig Berube not wasting any time. Lecavalier will start the game on the right side with Sean Couturier and Matt Reed. Steve Downey, of course, not available in this game due to injury. Downey will be missed, but getting Lecavalier back is a big boost for the Flyers offensively.
And so, we're underway. The thing has changed, the location and the jerseys as the Flyers in their road whites and the dark blue tops for Columbus as they intercept the puck in center ice, and Boone Jenner will tip into the Philadelphia zone. Braden Coburn is off a solid game the other night, gets that puck ahead to Lecavalier, and on the second try backhands it through center ice, and then Reed furthers it into the Columbus zone. McElhinney out to stop the puck. It bounces off of Reed and almost out in front of the net before Ryan Murray will move it ahead. And the Blue Jackets now move it across ice. Here's R.J. Umberger, the former Flyer, surging in. Backhands it off the outside of the net as you look at the Flyer combinations at the top of your screen. Ryan Johansson, the leading point getter for the Blue Jackets, tried to move it out in front. It deflects back out to Fedor Tutin for a shot that goes wide. Umberger's side of the net trying to center. That's blocked. And now it's chopped out through center and down the ice. Will not be icing. Jack Johnson has to go back and get it for the Blue Jackets as both teams make their first change. Johnson will drop the puck off. Tutin moving it ahead and down into the Philadelphia zone. Ray Emery touching the puck. Sporting new equipment. Ray Emery as the puck goes to Marian Gaborik. It's his first shift. Drops it along for Nick Foligno. Foligno, who scored the other night, seems to play very well against the Flyers. Behind the net, Anisimov trying to center. Emery knocked it down. It bounces around at the side of the net. Foligno gets to it. They have the Flyers bottled up in this shift as it comes across for Johnson. A shot. Emery squeezing the pads, makes the save and covers up. You know, the Blue Jackets would come out a determined team here tonight after letting that one get away the other night. There are the virtuous scratches from the lineups. Steve Downey added to that mix along with Nick Grossman. For the Blue Jackets, Skilly injured after scoring a goal the other night. Sergei Bobrovsky, not listed there, of course, is still out for Columbus. Craig Berube trying to adjust to the changes caused by injury to his men.
Still likes to go with Hal Gill back in lead point. In the absence of Nicholas Grossman, Andre Mazzaro sits again.
Well, the Blue Jackets win the draw, get the puck down low. Blake Como, the veteran, who also had a goal in Philadelphia, twisting and turning with it, and he'll roll it around behind the net. Corey Trop after it. He was nudged by Coburn. He gets it back, though. Trop centering. Under the net was Como, but the Flyers knock it away and out to center ice. Fourth lines going up against one another right here. As Como will float that one to the Philadelphia zone and back to get it. There's Chris Vandevelde, and he takes a big hit. Stepped into by Trop as that puck rolls on out through center ice. And now back the other way. Como for a shot. Brought off by Emery out into the high slot. And the Blue Jackets get to it for a shot by Dubinsky that perhaps went off of Emery and it went wide behind the net. Blue Jackets in the offensive zone again is Boone Jenner, the youngster. Trying to change direction and get some space. Back out to Wisniewski. Across it goes Murray. His shot wide, and the Flyers will get to it. Erik Gustafsson only moving up and fluttering it to the Columbus zone. Murray is back, ridden by Simmons. And he gets the puck now to Cam Atkinson, who got it out to center. Hartnell backhanded it right back into Atkinson. Now Hartnell jabs it ahead and gets to it. Going to the net is Simmons. Hartnell the pass. It's tipped away. Hartnell gets back to it. His shot might have hit Schenn. And Columbus gets back to it. Wisniewski has it. Moving it ahead, and Dubinsky will clear it to center ice.
Good play there by Scott Hartnell on the wall to get that 2-on-1 advantage. Would like to see him shoot that puck, though, with Wayne Simmons driving to the front of that, but he did stay with it and almost had a second opportunity on the backhand.
Blue Jackets back in their zone. We passed the 3-minute mark of this first period. Glad you could join us on Comcast Sportsnet. Blue Jackets and Flyers, second time they'll meet. They'll play 4 times overall this season. Now, of course, members of the same division. Jake Voracek in his first trip back to the place where he started his NHL career. Raffl is decked. Jack Johnson couldn't find the puck. Now he's got it, and he'll move it ahead. Good poise again by Raffl. Voracek moving up. He's got people coming. Voracek holds. He tries to pass. Raffl got a shot up, but couldn't get it through as it was bouncing, and Tootin was able to get in the way. Jake Voracek has been looking to shoot more often here of late. Was looking pass all the way right there.
Flyers with numbers again, and it's awfully tempting when you see your captain heading down the middle of the ice. Voracek looking to slide that puck across, and the Blue Jackets do a nice job in defending that pass.
He actually had too many guys to pass to. He had too many selections.
Yeah, too many options there.
Yeah.
Here's Vinny Lecavalier knocking the puck down. Bounces back out to the line. There's Luke Schenn, shot that hit a body on its way in. Gustafsson tries to keep the puck in the zone as he jousts with Gaborik. And he gets some help. And Couturier will spin it deep into the Columbus zone. Nikita Nikitin is after it there. One of my favorite NHL names. Moves the puck to Nick Foligno. And then it's passed to Anisimov and chopped back down low by Reed, but then cut off. Foligno spilled. He hit the ice hard as he came together with Couturier. Moving up with it, though. The Blue Jackets for a shot by Gaborik that's blocked by Luke Schenn. Now Luke Schenn looking to move up in the offensive rush as Couturier takes the puck. Couturier will flip one off of McElhinney. Bounces right in front of him. Adam Hall was after it. Now the referee takes a tumble. Down went Dan O'Rourke heavily. He gets up very slowly. And he gets no sympathy from the fans here.
He does not.
But that had to hurt. He is all hunched over as McElhinney tips that puck to the corner. And now Blake Como moves it across. It's Savard ahead for Letestu. He tips the puck deep. And Veldy's back takes another heavy hit. That one from Como, and the Flyers push the puck through center ice. He's taking hits to make plays.
He is, in the defensive zone, that's what you have to do. You don't want to cough that puck up unless you've got a purpose behind it, and he does a nice job in absorbing the checks.
Como will send it deep into the Philadelphia zone. Ray Emery out to play it to Ronaldo. He tips it into the middle. Van de Velde there, but he spun around. It bounces around and winds up on the stick of Ronaldo after all. He stepped into at the blue line. He coughed up the puck. Brandon Dubinsky, the former Ranger, with a spinorama and then the pass ahead. Cam Atkinson trying to move ahead, stopped by Gill. And the puck back out to center, reaching for it with Simmons. Instead it straight at his own line to open ice. The Flyers will move in. Here's Braden Schenn, and they call it on the offside. Delayed whistle there, but they eventually blew it dead. So the face-off in center. Let's go inside the glass to Steve Coates once again sharing his space with Jody Shelley.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. And, you know, this is exactly what everybody was talking about. Todd Richards said he's going to remember that loss the other night for an awful long time. So obviously knew the Columbus Blue Jackets were going to come out with a lot of energy. This first 10 minutes is so important. They've had to sit 2 days and think about that loss from the other night in Philadelphia. And right now you can see they're coming very hard, very physical. And it's going to be a tough first 10 minutes, as I mentioned.
And they are a pretty darn good team here at home as well, as the numbers indicate. So a big challenge for the Flyers. And very difficult to sweep a home-and-home series. Capitals found that out against the Flyers after the big come-from-behind win in the front end. The Flyers came back an ornery bunch the second time around.
Yeah, momentum doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot from game to game.
Here's Reed, a pass from Lecavalier. Foligno got his stick in there and deflected it out of play. We'll step aside. No score early on from Nationwide Arena.
Scoreless here in the first period. The Flyers with a couple odd man rushes early in this one, as Columbus has been aggressive, as Coatsy was telling you before the break. There's Voracek there looking to pass at a prime opportunity to shoot that puck, and the Blue Jackets are able to cover it. Just getting pucks to the net has proved to be vitally important for the Flyers, and you can see why. Couturier just flips that puck. There's a scramble situation, actually, where the referee gets knocked down. It's a big part of why the Flyers were able to come back in that third period against Columbus, was traffic to the net, some loose pucks in the blue paint, and the Flyers were scoring goals. They want to get back to that right away here against the Blue Jackets.
We certainly saw rebound opportunities against Curtis McElhinney. He made a lot of big saves, especially early in that game the other night, but there were pucks there, and the Flyers started getting to them in the third period. Fedor Tyutin was the only remaining Blue Jacket from the last time the Flyers played here at Nationwide Arena. Just one player remains for Columbus, and 4 for the Flyers. That game was over 3 calendar years ago. These teams have only played in this building twice in the last 8 years, but they'll play twice in a month. So the Flyers will be back here in January. Columbus physical early. Shot there by Giroux, and he just missed the net. But all the way out it goes to Matt Calvert, moving up in a 3-on-2. Cross-ice pass, and the shot goes wide from Johansson. Actually, it was a pass. Now the point shot, and that one also missed the target as Tyutin fired away. All the way down the ice it goes. Jack Johnson has it. He's quite vocal after the loss the other night. It's the puck ahead to Dubinsky. He'll shovel one toward Emery. He's going to grab that one before it hits the ice and hang right on it.
Well, the Adirondack Phantoms return to Philadelphia for 2 games at the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday, February the 1st against the Hershey Bears, and again on Saturday, February 22nd against the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Tickets are on sale now for some terrific American Hockey League action.
Phantoms have been playing some good hockey of late under Terry Murray. Draw here to the left of Emery. Flyers win it. Mark Streit has it. Head for Wayne Simmons, and he'll just play it through center and down into the Blue Jacket zone. Braden Shen first to it. Puts it right in off of McElhinney. He was alert to keep that one out. Trying to bank that in. We've seen that work for the Flyers recently, haven't we? Sean Couturier a couple of times.
Shoot from anywhere.
Hartnell has that dump in, hit the curb glass by the Columbus bench, and so play is stopped. We were mentioning the Phantoms. Next year they will be the Lehigh Valley Phantoms playing at the PPL Arena. The Phantoms, still the Adirondack Phantoms, had a chance to check out what will be their new digs next year. Still obviously the process, I should say, of being built in Allentown, Lehigh Valley, but that'll be exciting stuff next year. The Lehigh Valley Phantoms.
It's going to be a home run, don't you think? I mean, it's just perfect.
Another puck into the Philadelphia zone here. Another big hit, but that's going to be penalized. This Vandevelde accepting his 3rd big hit. Actually, now they're calling holding, so it's a penalty away from the hit itself.
Columbus minor penalty 55, holding.
It's going to be Mark Letestu who gets the penalty for holding right here. He's got the free arm around Vandevelde, and he gets run over by Blake Como. 3rd time in this first period in the defensive zone that there's been some contact on 76 and white.
See, we're all paying attention to the hit by Como, and you just see that little subtle grab by Letestu. So the Flyers will head to the power play, and that hopefully will cool the Columbus Blue Jackets down right now because they're on fire.
That could be a way to stem that tide. The Flyers' road power play has been outstanding this year. Giroux out. Hartnell and Simmons up front. Stevenin and Voracek manning the points. Giroux will go against Dubinsky now after Lisamov's toss. Simmons saying, just dropped the puck. He keeps darting into the circle, and now Giroux wins the draw, but played it out to center. Stevenin had to take it into neutral zone. Goes across to Voracek, and he'll rifle it into the Columbus zone. Johnson after it. Hartnell overtakes him. Simmons looking for the puck as well. They battle for it. Working very hard, Hartnell and Simmons here. They'll come away with it. Giroux hoping it'll pop free, and it does. And he spins it up the wall to Timonen. Timonen takes the shot, and it goes wide. All the way out to Voracek. Voracek to the Ashmark centers, and Hartnell back out. Timonen shot deflection, but it went wide. Giroux is able to corral it and keep it in all the way across to Voracek. Voracek again passing in out of the reach of Hartnell. Now out to the point it goes. Timonen back to Giroux. Giroux waiting for something to open up. Now back to Timonen across for Voracek. Simmons is in front of the net. Voracek takes the shot, and it deflected and went to the corner. Played up, but off Voracek's stick to Timonen. Across the Giroux, one-timer, and McElhinney got across as that puck may have been going wide anyhow. Now Simmons battling with Tuukka. Puck comes around. Giroux is there. We'll play it up the wall to Timonen. Good control by the Flyers in the power play. 50 seconds remain. On the man advantage, Giroux. Side of the net, Simmons. Had nowhere to go in front and then popped up the puck as Johnson stole it, but Giroux got it back to Timonen. And now Giroux is checked and Nisimov does clear.
Columbus is not pressuring the puck. That's allowing the Flyers to move the puck around the perimeter. But I'll tell you what, the crisp passing, very, very good right now for the Philadelphia Flyers. A couple of real good opportunities on net. And I think McElhinney, I'd get the shots on him. He's got to be thinking about Thursday, and he's looked on a couple shots a little shaky.
McDonald's power play payoff contestant you saw there briefly as the Flyers move up. The cross ice pass. They've changed personnel. Gustafsson, slight hesitation, but got that puck in along for Braden Shen. What are the overall numbers on the special teams for these two units? Flyers the fourth best road power play in the NHL at 24.6%, but unable to get it done in this particular occasion as the Blue Jackets are back to full strength. And now the Flyers ice the puck. And so the face-off back into the Philadelphia zone. Get Philly sports news and scores when you're on the go. Be the first to know the latest on all of your Philly teams right from your smartphone. Everybody has a smartphone, it seems, these days. Download the free CSN Philly Sports app right now.
Bit of a broken line here for the Flyers. It was at the end of the powered play, so the Cavaliers out there with Braden Shen and Matt Reed for this important defensive zone faceoff.
One shot for the Flyers on that power play. Well, they're going to do this over again. Something was wrong with the initial faceoff. And we got whistles blowing all over the place.
Yeah,
they were going to take the television timeout, but decided since play officially hadn't really started on the bad draw that we'll stay here for now. These referees have to be TV producers as well.
They do.
Yes.
Keep the ice crew off the ice.
That's right. Off the draw, the Flyers control. And here's Matt Reed. Long pass is right on the money to LeCavalier, moving up. Chips it to the middle, but couldn't get much on the shot, and it went off his stick and floated to the corner. Now Braden Shen, double team, doing his best to occupy the two Blue Jackets. Raffle in to help him out as the Flyers again in the middle of a change. Shen and Raffle battling. Now Ronaldo is out on the ice as well as the puck comes free, and it's Braden Shen with a pass for Coburn. He couldn't handle it. Makes a dive to try to break up the rush, but could not. Here's Foligno moving up on a 3-on-2. His pass all the way back to Gaborik. Gaborik got up a weak shot. Save Emery. Rebound back out in front. The shot, and they score. Johansson goes upstairs to make it 1-0 Columbus.
Looked like Marian Gaborik got hurt on this play as well. As you can see him in the pile there heading to the bench. Not sure if he's going to be all right or not, but it's the Blue Jackets that score on this rush up the ice where Johansson is late to arrive, but in perfect position to score. You can see the initial save by Ray Emery, kick to the corner, and the pass out front to Johansson, who fires it quickly to the net. Here's Gaborik, who made the pass and then took the contact from Zach Ronaldo right there, sandwiched between he and Coburn.
Johansson had his 9-game point streak end in the game in Philadelphia the other night, so he looks to start a new one here with a goal. And a lot of conversation going on between the officials, also with some of the players, and I'm not quite sure what it's about.
Maybe about the hit, Coatsy.
Well, we'll have to take a look at it, but this all starts. We're going to see Gaborik right here. He's going to get the shot, and then the puck, as Emery comes flying across, Johansson's right there with the opportunity, and that's pretty easy to get it up high and over Emery. But let's take a look back when you see the puck come back out to Coburn. He got himself a little deep at the top of the circle. That allowed the Columbus Blue Jackets to come the other way with the odd man rush.
Yeah, both coaches have been talked to by officials to describe perhaps why there was no penalty given or why there will be a penalty given on the hit.
Well, one of the referees just left, and it was the ref that fell down in that collision, so maybe that's the issue.
And O'Rourke has left, so we're back to 3 officials, 1 referee, 2 linesmen. The Columbus goal is his 13th goal of the season. Puck moving moving ahead. Here's Raffle with a shot. Save McElhinney gets fought off the puck, but he is able to cover up. Just over 9 minutes remaining in the first. Columbus with a lead.
Columbus up 1-0 on the back of Ryan Johansson's goal, as he is able to fire that quickly. There's the contact with Gaborik. He gets sandwiched between Ronaldo and Coburn. You can see he's down and out, and Johansson fires that puck up to the top of the net above Ray Emery to give the Blue Jackets the 1-0 lead, but Gaborik has not returned to the bench just yet.
Now, as a result of Coburn going flying back to be able to try to pick up on getting caught a little bit, you got to give him a lot of credit because he did do a good job to get back, but right there, that's a long way to go in a very short period of time.
Gaborik had missed 17 games with a knee injury, right down the chute, as you mentioned, to the locker room, so we'll wait for a report on him. Unfortunate for the Blue Jackets to lose him already half a period after getting him back after missing 17 games. Raffle knocked down, gets back up, tries to play it to the point, he gets knocked down again by Johnson. He's been very physical here early. The puck skips up into the Columbus bench and play is stopped.
Coburn aggressive there and standing up at the blue line. He wants to continue to do that. Even as Coachy mentioned, he did get cut up the ice on that goal, but he's such a great skater. He's able to get back and try to help out.
Here is our Dodge trivia question for tonight. In the last 20 years, what's the most goals the Flyers have posted in one game? 8, 9, or 10? We'll give you the answer later on in the broadcast. 5-1 period the other night.
Yep.
Flyers going to need to score some goals here. There's Hal Gill playing for the first time since November the 7th. That puck rolls in on McElhinney and he hangs on. Al went a long time to start the season without playing. He scratched the first 12 games of the year, then played 3, and I thought for a guy who hadn't played in all that time, played remarkably well, and now he sat for even a longer period of time.
He's just been a great team guy, though, involved in the meetings and a guy that the players can come to and ask advice of. He's a veteran guy with a ton of experience, Stanley Cup champion. And
keeps the room loose, that's
yes,
for sure.
He does. Knows when to make you laugh.
Was singing Christmas carols yesterday coming off the ice after practice.
Gotta love it.
Better keep his day job, however.
Not real good at it.
I'm told. Simmons getting that puck into the corner and Hartnell after it with Schenn. He's shoved to the boards by Dubinsky. Boy, the Blue Jackets very physical here in this first period. Guess you had to expect that. And Jenner fires it wide of Emery's net. Has to get back after the puck, and Ellis, as I thought, he went down and Streit is going to get the penalty, or just going to be the one. Wow. I thought he fell well after the contact was made, but Streit will get the penalty, and so Columbus will get his first power play of the night.
Jenner did a good job of drawing that penalty, and embellishment's another good word for it. As you can see, the two get tangled up there, and down he goes with a good look to the referee, but the stick is in between momentarily, but not enough to go down like that. So good job by him to draw the penalty.
Mark Streit was obviously upset for a reason when you saw that replay. Two guys battling off the wall, and all of a sudden you get a penalty. He didn't hide it. He spoke to the referee very aggressively about it.
And again, if you joined us late, we're working with one referee, 2 linesmen here, as Dan O'Rourke is left after taking a spill. So Columbus to the power play, and here's Johansson with the puck into the slot, looking for Dubinsky. It went on through. And drop it into the corner for Umberger, who is checked by Coburn. Spin it back out to the point. Across it comes Wisniewski. He can fire it, and he does, but that one deflects and goes wide. And they get it back. Ryan Murray across to Wisniewski. And now Murray, the youngster, all the way across ice. One-time shot, Emery to save, as he was able to snare that one from Ryan Johansson.
He can shoot it. Johansson, we saw him score the goal early, and Emery comes across there and makes a nice save.
He's a big man. He's the leading scorer right now for the Columbus Blue Jackets. A little quiet the other night in Philadelphia, but he's going to take this one-timer. And Emery, I don't even know how he saw it. He got himself into the proper position. Technically, hey, he's got to assume the puck's there and got his body in front of it.
Had a look at the numbers. The Columbus power play, 12th ranked, won for its last 15. They were 0 for 2 the other night in Philadelphia, but they have Wisniewski back, and he's a good point man to have. That shot blocked by Reed, but he couldn't clear. And now Nick Foligno to it. Chris Vandervelde getting some penalty kill time for the Flyers. He's out on the ice right now. Wisniewski another try, and that one deflects off of Reed and goes over the glass into the safety netting.
Let's watch Johansson once again. former #1 pick, because he's going to have the opportunity right there. One-timer. See him get down on his knees. But the thing I loved is look at Emery. He's got all that traffic right in front of him, and somehow he came up with the save.
That was a good stop with that screen right in front of him. 1:06 still remaining on the stripe minor. Just less than 7 in the first period. Tootin will go across ice. Jack Johnson can't catch up to it. Reed hammers it down the ice. McElhaney out of his cage. Ooh. Pretty close to steering that puck into the area outside the trapezoid. Now the Blue Jackets move up. Johnson. Pass off the skate of Calvert. He's tied up by Couturier. And the Blue Jackets have to back up before going forward. 35 seconds on the man advantage. Johnson. Pass in the middle. Nisimov off on the left wing. Umberger the shot. Skipped wide and all the way out to the point and beyond to the neutral zone. Played back in by Tootin, but the Flyers now get the puck back. Seaman in no particular hurry here. Waits as long as he can and then finally sends it all the way down. One last rush if the Blue Jackets can get things together on this power play. Johnson will carry the puck. Moves it to Dubinsky. He'll wind it in. Ricochets around. Al Gill read it perfectly. Gets to it. Fires it all the way down. And that takes care of the power play. So the Flyers kill it out. Both teams 0 for 1 with the man advantage. This remains a 1-0 hockey game. 5:45 to play in the first. Umberger shouldered by Ronaldo as he gets the puck into the Philadelphia zone. Gill will play it across. Gill takes a hit. That was Dubinsky. Now Ronaldo accepts the hit from Wisniewski and sort of throws one back all in the same motion as he gets the puck into the Columbus zone. Ronaldo after Letestu. They get the puck ahead and it skips out of play into the Philadelphia bench. Columbus with the 1-goal lead here in the first. Time for the Gwinnett Mercy University game notes. Big milestone hit for Daniel Alfredsson, and boy, some goalies really putting some numbers up as well.
Daniel Alfredsson there. You can see the numbers for him. 700 assists now. Playing Toronto tonight. Detroit and Toronto. We'll have going at it pretty hard there in Toronto.
And there you go. Martin Jones picked up his 8th today, so he's tied with former Flyer Bob Froese. By the way, that's to start a career in 1 season. Ray Emery still holds the record to start a career over a couple of seasons. As Ray Emery had a spectacular start to his career, 9-0 in his first 9 games of record in the NHL. Back as a member of the Ottawa Senators. This is icing against Columbus, although it was a pretty close race to the dot. Fans thought that should have been waved off. But there's Ray, who's put together some streaks like that. Had another great year last year in terms of wins and losses, to the point where he's 3rd among active goalies in win percentage.
Incredible numbers for Ray Emery and outstanding numbers against the Blue Jackets in his career. As you can see, a 3-0-1 record that he'll try to improve upon here.
If he looks a little brighter, well, he's got brand new pads, brand new blocker, and a brand new catching mitt.
Yeah, it's fluorescent orange in the mix there. Does really stand out. Here's Braden Shen protecting the puck. Shen trying to get that one down low, but it's taken away. Blake Comeau will hit Corey Trop with the pass. Trop trying to maneuver around Luke Shen, and he could not do it. But the arm goes up. They're going to call it interference. So Luke Shen will go to the box. Darcy Birchall is the lone remaining referee working the game right now.
And there's Shen going up against Trop. The
Philadelphia 2 minutes
little tap
interference.
there is enough to get the call. And the Flyers once again are shorthanded, and Greg Ruby kind of looking on a little bewildered there.
Yeah, the puck was there, and I believe, in fact, the player was actually touching the puck when he hit him, but Birchall saw it the other way, and so a second power play for Columbus.
Boy, that's 2 in a row. You got to be wondering, is Luke Shen's even looking up at the monitor here to say, wow.
Well, this is quite a chore for Darcy Birchall. He's come up, I'm sure, a young referee, very much used to the 2-referee system. And
yeah, they rely heavily on the veteran ref of the pair, too.
Yeah. So Columbus to the power play for a shot. It's knocked down by Emery, and then Umberger will play it back out to Ryan Murray. And now Johansson gets it to Murray and across to Wisniewski. Murray trying to keep that in and does with his skate. Wisniewski right back to him. He'll wind and fire off a stick and wide. Bounces behind the net. Umberger a chop at it. Puck's there right out in front. And it's kept alive. Flyers a chance to clear. Reed having difficulty, but Right there is Couturier to send it all the way down.
Pretty smooth play there by Sean Couturier. Matt Reed had that puck in between his legs. Couturier patiently waited for it to come out and was in perfect position to fire it down the ice.
1:12 remaining on the penalty. 3:50 in the first period. Mark Streit gets the puck, played it nicely ahead to Adam Hall, and he'll send it the length of the ice. Mark Streit really beginning to settle in now as a Flyer.
He sure is, and the Flyers do some good work here tracking down that puck after Streit did such a nice job in the corner to get it out.
Vandevelde again on the penalty kill. That worked in the offensive zone. Now he's heading off the ice. How to change? When's the last time the Flyers had a 75? They had a 76 on the ice at the same time. Moments ago they did. Hal Gill and Chris Vandevelde. Now Streit back to get to this puck. He's checked. Gill is there as well. And Isamov comes up with it. Streit strips him, turns with it, plays it up the middle, off a stick, and finally it's bunted down the ice by Ronaldo.
Flyers did a nice job of getting those pucks to the middle of the ice. Unusual in a penalty kill situation, but they must have found something out in the video over the last couple of days because it is working so far.
That puck deflects into the Philadelphia bench, so they'll draw it in the neutral zone. Flyers down twice already in this game, and they continue to lead the NHL penalty minutes per game. Those are updated statistics. They lead the NHL in penalties and penalty minutes as well. They have spent over 240 minutes shorthanded this season. That's about 7 minutes a game, and Greg Ruby would like to shave that down.
Yeah, and a couple of the penalties here this period have not been of the clear variety.
Exactly.
Let's just put it that way.
Yes, we'll leave it at that.
Foligno didn't like the way Adam Hall took the puck off from inside the blue line. They're still having a conversation even when the play started.
Look out here, and Isamov trying to center. It goes off of Emery, high in the air, right across the crease area while airborne. Flyers are back to full strength. Tootin, puck handling for Columbus. Gets it back to the point, Foligno. Foligno, wrist shot, blocked off. And it was Ronaldo who now tries to spring Couturier, but the pass tipped away, and Johnson has it again. Jack Johnson logging a ton of ice time here in the first period. Emery falls down as that puck is dumped in. Lake Como gets to it. Former Islander getting it back out. Savard will fire one wide on purpose, looking for Letestu or Calvert, but instead it's the Flyers, and Lecavalier will shovel one through center, hoping for and getting Matt Reed. Nice play there by Lecavalier. Reed steering it wide of the net, and Calvert will get to it. 2 minutes remaining in the period. Blue Jackets have it back. Savard, two-time Canadian Major Junior Defenseman of the Year, got it into the zone, and the Blue Jackets come up with it. Here's Como, a backhander, didn't get all of it, it was blocked aside. And now Nikitin pulls it around behind the net. Letestu, the former Penguin, is met there by Luke Schenn, who takes the puck away and gets it to Lecavalier, who backhands out to center and off Savard down the ice.
Second time in this shift, and Lecavallier's used that backhand, playing the right side as a left-hand shot. The skills that he possesses allow him to throw those pucks up high in the air and get them out of the zone. The Flyers have just one home game remaining before the long West Coast road trip. You can catch the Flyers at home on Monday against the Minnesota Wild. Celebrate the holidays with a great seat at a Flyers game against a pretty darn good team in Minnesota. Can check with the best of them and have an outstanding defenseman in Ryan Suter that the Flyers tried to steal away at one point.
Ryan Suter out on the ice quite a bit. I talked about Jack Johnson being on the ice a lot here. A hand pass called here against the Flyers. And of course, they've got Parisi on the Wild team. And they really shut the Flyers down in Minnesota when they met about a month ago. So the Flyers have plenty of motivation for that game on Monday.
Yeah, a lot of American standouts on that Minnesota Wild team that we'll be watching in the Olympics. Jack Johnson, another one here for Columbus. Suter and Johnson, two outstanding young American defensemen.
Drop this puck just outside the Columbus blue line. I saw one report the other day that said Bobby Ryan is a question mark to make Team USA. Do you buy that?
I do not. That is absolutely shocking to me. I think he's had a terrific year for the Ottawa Senators, and that's the type of offense I want on the ice.
He's one of the bright spots for the Senators this year.
And with all that ice, the Olympic-sized ice, you're right, I think you want him out there working his magic. Minute remaining here in the first. Johansson, who has the goal, gets that puck free. Now, Boone Jenner's pass tipped away by Hartman. It fired across in center, but that's broken up. Bounces high in the air again and into the Philadelphia zone. Braden Schenn trying to get leverage, but a penalty's called. Penalty called, and they're going to call it on Columbus as Schenn ended up on the ice. And now the Flyers will get a power play. It'll be their second of the game.
This is Jenner. He's going to come into the zone, and he's going to take his arm, and you'll see him.
Columbus penalty, 2 minutes holding.
Take right there. Take Schenn right off of the puck. That's a real good shot right there.
Yeah, the free hand right there is off the stick, and the referee in good position to call it. It was Jenner that kind of went down easy, drawing a penalty for the Columbus Blue Jackets to head on the power play, and here he gets busted.
What do you think of his stick play?
Very nice.
Gave you a good view there.
Hiding the camera.
Draw it to the right of McElhinney. 42 seconds remaining in the period. Lecavalier wins it back straight, a shot. McElhinney the save, and he's able to gather the rebound just before the Flyers got there.
More from Streit again. Hey, Jimmy, we talked about him earlier. That outstanding shot that he possesses, gets it through quickly, and Schenn just almost arrives in time for the rebound.
And Lecavallier's big face-off right there. Comes directly back. Streit's a smart enough guy. Left-hand shot, takes the quick shot.
Lecavalier wins another draw. Couturier plays it to Reed, but Reed turned it over to Letestu. And he will clear it all the way down. There's another McDonald's power play payoff contested here as they have 20 seconds to work with here in the first period. So they get a rush here as Streit maneuvers up. Right wing pass to Lecavalier, winding it in. Couturier lets it go to Schenn, who fires when it comes back to him. Schenn now centering and hit McElhinney's stick, and he's able to cover up. Again, Schenn trying from the angle.
Second time that he's tried to throw the old Sean Couturier play from the side there. McElhinney up to both of those, and that one was a little closer though. He had Vinny Lecavalier on the other side too, just in case the puck got through, so not a bad idea for Brayden Schenn in the dying seconds of the first period.
McElhinney seems to go down into that butterfly a little early, so the Flyers might be able to take advantage of up and over the shoulders.
5.6 on the first period clock. Flyers trying to get control, but the puck goes to the corner. Hartnell got up there. Johnson plays it up, not out, teaming in a quick shot deflected. Went wide as the horn sounds. So just the one goal here in period number one. It belongs to 21-year-old Ryan Johansson, who also gets some words of advice from Claude Giroux on his way off the ice. 1-0 Columbus through 20 minutes of play. Tonight's Flyers Blue Jackets first period was brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Tonight's second period from Columbus is brought to you by your local Delaware Valley Audi dealers and legendary Audi Quattro all-wheel drive, the world's top-selling luxury all-wheel drive system. Also brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Johansson. It's the only goal of period number one. Here are the Sugar House Casino first period statistics.
Pretty physical first period for Columbus. The Flyers want to match that physicality here in the second period. Ronaldo was the most physical Flyer, and Greg Berube put him on the ice quite a bit because of that in that period. The faceoffs also favor Columbus, and the shots on goal as well. And they pick up the only goal in that period. Ryan Johansson picks up the goal. It's 13th of the season from Foligno and Gaborik. Gaborik left the game shortly after picking up that assist, actually immediately following the assist on the goal.
Our GMC NHL update comes to you from Pittsburgh, where the Penguins just don't lose anymore, going for their 10th consecutive win at the Consol Energy Center against the Calgary Flames. And well, this guy has something to do with that winning streak. Sidney Crosby, 20th of the year, blowing that one by the Calgary goaltender. Matt Niskanen has played so well for the injury-depleted blue line, but the Penguins also scoring. The Penguins win it by a score of 4-3. They have won 10 in a row at home, and they are rolling overall, quite frankly, atop the Metropolitan Division by 14 points over Washington.
Take a look at some of the Twitter shots from that first period. Not worried, Flyers fans. 5 third-period goals. I don't think the Flyers want to try to pull that one off again, but they'll take 5 in the second.
Giroux certainly is looking more confident. Ramry allowed the one goal, but had a real slight chance of making a save on that top-shelf goal by Johansson off the scramble. Flyers will begin this second period on the power play. 1:18 remaining on the minor to Boone Jenner. We received word that Dan O'Rourke, the referee, will not return to this game as in that collision he took a skate to the chest, and so there is your only referee the rest of the way, young Darcy Burchell. I believe it's the first game he's worked for the Flyers. Might be the second, but he's one of the younger referees, and he's the only referee here tonight right now.
Yeah, and here's the injury to O'Rourke. Watch the skate blade of Corey Trop right there. Catch him right in the middle of the chest. You can see him reach up and grab that chest there. Scary play. And he continued on for a few shifts because he's a hockey ref, but couldn't continue after some major issues going on, and we wish him the best in a quick recovery.
Coatsy, you know about those skates to the midsection or chest area even. Not fun, right?
No, I tell you, I just felt so bad when I saw the replay there. We didn't see as much of it in the first opportunity, and I went, oh, I just felt the pain right there, Jimmy, when I saw it.
For those of you who did not remember, Steve Coates took a skate right to his abdomen. What was that, 2 seasons ago or 3?
I think it was 3 seasons. I think that Jonesy still reminds me about it.
At MSG, and he got so many phone calls. The whole league was worried about you. It was getting a little bit old to me, but
you weren't worried at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, Jonesy's so sympathetic.
He is.
So the Flyers
Where'd he
with
go?
a minute remaining on this power play as they move up. Here's Timonen. The left wing pass. Now Hartnell jamming it back around. Timonen in deep. Got that puck back to Hartnell, but he is checked again. Was back after with Tootin. And now it's Anisimov pinned by Giroux. The puck along the board. Simmons takes a look, goes cross ice to Voracek. With room, Voracek holds, fires, blocked. Tootin went sliding out and knocked it down, and the Blue Jackets clear.
Pretty good play there by Fedor Tootin. It was Voracek that scored a goal from a similar spot against the Washington Capitals just a couple of games ago, using that quickness and the shot to go with it to get around the defender, but Tootin was up to the task.
You know, we always say you shouldn't leave your feet to be able to block a shot. Well, Tootin did it perfectly because Voracek did a nice job of dropping his shoulder, trying to move into the middle. That's where he's at his best, when he comes back into the middle on the forehand, but that was perfect timing by Tootin.
Just 20 seconds left in the power play now as they'll drop the puck in the neutral zone. Flyers came into this game 25% of their power play over the last 8 games. They get Vinny Lecavalier added back to the mix here tonight as he's out on this second unit. Couturier knocks that puck down beautifully, keeps the puck in the zone. But then Lecavalier couldn't handle his pass along the boards. Reed barrels in after it. And Reed doing a good job. Kicks that to Lecavalier, looking in front for Couturier. He was there, but the puck knocked down. And a good read by Calvert, and now the play is offside. He would say intentional offside. So the face off all the way back into the Philadelphia zone as the power play is ended.
Well, the reason this is going to come back and you say intentional is they're saying that Braden Coburn knew that there were people in there and it was just a matter of him firing the puck in for the zone to get it the offside. So that's why it's coming all the way back to the right of Ray Emery.
I like the decision by Coburn to bring it back in the zone. The Blue Jackets had a man just released from the penalty box, and it could have been a dangerous play. So smart play by Coburn, and the Flyers will take the face-off back in their own zone.
He was about 10 feet to Coburn's right. He picked right up on that.
Couturier was having a word or two with the linesman, though, because he said, I didn't even know the puck came out to center. How is it intentional?
Right.
Officials always have to deal with an argument from one source or another, right?
It's all part of it.
There's a battle in the Philadelphia zone. Couturier moves it ahead to Reed, right back to Couturier, now ahead. The Flyers have a chance. Well, it's more of a 3-on-3 as they move up with it. Lecavalier behind the back pass to Strike, back to Lecavalier, but he was tightly marked. The puck to the corner, Reed backhanded, but right there was Logan to clear the zone, or Jenner, I should say.
Well, the Flyers had a lot of opportunities. They had 4 guys below the dot, but Columbus picked everybody up.
Here is Braden Shen around behind the net for Hartnell. Hartnell looking for an option, and he'll drop the puck off. Gustafsson in from the point, but his shot deflected and goes into the safety netting.
That rotation with Gustafsson jumping in. Hartnell does a nice job of drawing a couple of Blue Jackets towards the point, and then Gustafsson jumps in. We've seen that play work for the Flyers on a couple of different occasions with left-handed shooting defensemen jumping in on the play with traffic heading to the net.
So they'll draw it to the right of McElhaney. Simmons got it back out to the point. There's Gustafsson. And along. And the attempt by Hartnell. Simmons to the puck. Now it's Schenn behind the net. Wheels to the corner with it. Right back around for Simmons. Trying to spin off a check, but he's dumped. And the Blue Jackets get the puck back. Johnson. And he'll get air underneath it out to the neutral zone. Schenn could not knock it out of midair. And now Gustafsson has some difficulty with it as well. Luke Schenn will move it up. Simmons a poke at it, but the puck right to Anisimov, whose shot went wide. Now Brayden Schenn was dumped as he got to the blue line. The Flyers back to the puck. Hartnell dropping it to Luke Schenn, and they'll wind it into the Columbus zone. Jack Johnson there. Anisimov turns it over. Flyers get to it, turning his Schenn, the shot, and it was denied as Schenn quickly getting to that, and the Flyers trying to take advantage of a turnover.
I don't even know what McElhinney was doing. I don't even think he was looking. He kind of just threw his body sideways at that shot.
No style points in hockey as that puck goes all the way down the ice.
Flyers get that opportunity there as the puck was chipped to the center ice area where Anisimov tried to make a play, and McElhinney came out, and the puck ends up going off him and wide.
Look at McElhinney's position by the time he's kind of sideways. He fires his way out into the middle to make that save. There you go, man. No style points. Just stop the puck, right?
Yeah, the Olympics are coming. We'll have events that are, where style points count, but hockey will not be one of them. Timonen stumbles on the puck. Oh, and the Blue Jackets still have it. Turning with it is Foligno. Always seems so dangerous. Centers this one, but it goes on through his Como as well marked. The Flyers try to clear, but that is kept in. And that shot from Propp kicked aside by Emery. They kept it at the point. Murray shot deflected and batted away. Coburn to it. Flyers look to move up. Here's Giroux. Giroux back in the left wing, but couldn't be caught by Raffl, and so the Jackets have it back. Murray in the middle. And it'll deflect down into the Philadelphia zone. Emery sets it up for Coburn. He's run into, but gets support from Giroux, who's also barreled into the physical play, continuing for the Blue Jackets. They out-hit the Flyers by a big margin in that first period, and they have continued to throw their bodies around here in the second.
Been real aggressive in the offensive zone up against the Flyers' defense, and the Blue Jackets' defense have pinched in quite often when the Blue Jackets have had some energy going in the offensive zone.
Flyers are going to have to up the tempo a little bit. Here's the pass in the left wing. Dubinsky moving up the shot. Emery the save. Falls backwards, but he's got it. Mark that one down. Dubinsky that close to giving the Blue Jackets a 2-goal lead.
Terrific shot by Dubinsky and an even better save by Ray Emery. The speed of Dubinsky down the wing, the quick release there to the glove side, and Emery's there to throw the glove up and stop that one.
I don't think Dubinsky took that back a foot. That's how quickly that wrist shot's going to come. And you can see when you're looking over his shoulder that Ray Emery, boy, I'll tell you what a great save that is, because you're looking over Dubinsky's shoulder, you see that shot fire into the far post, and all of a sudden here comes the glove of Emery. Emery's been very, very sharp so far.
Draw here to the right of Emery. His 10th start of the season. First one since that Chicago game. He wants to play well and get that one out of his system. Mark Streit moves the puck ahead. Zach Rinaldo gets the legs moving. Rinaldo trying to carry Watt in the left wing. Stops. And then he's double teamed. Andeveldi's there to help him. Andeveldi moving away from one Blue Jacket all the way out to Streit. Streit holding a wrist shot blocked by Jenner, but goes right to Gill. He tries to get it to Vandeveldi, who will track it down in the corner. This Vandeveldi now double teamed. Again, good work to keep that puck alive. It makes its way to the slot. And now back Atkinson, who could not clear Gill. Pulling it around. Hall tracks it down, tries to center one off the skate. Jenner to it. And he'll bank it out to the neutral zone. Streit goes back for it. There's that big advantage in hits for the Blue Jackets. Won't matter if the Flyers can score one of these forays and tie the game and get the momentum right back. Here is Streit looking for and finding Reed. Reed ridden by David Savard, got away from him, is knocked down, and that's a penalty. Young referee Darcy Burchell up with the arm, a trip to call, and the Flyers will get their third power play.
Savard, who was victimized by Claude Giroux on that game-winning goal in the third period that Giroux
Columbus, 2 minutes
protected
skipping.
from Savard before firing over McElhinney. Ends up picking up a penalty here, and the Flyers will try to take advantage of this man advantage here and see if they can get things tied up.
The Flyers are doing a real good job on the forecheck right now. They're taking advantage of a couple of the young defensemen of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Savard being one of them. So you got to cash in, though, on one of these power plays sooner or later.
Flyers win the draw. Here is Timonen. Giroux Does get it back. Team it for a shot deflected. McElhinney to save it. Still loose. No whistle. And finally, play stopped as McElhinney, some help, able to find that puck and cover up.
So important to get the shot through from the point. You can see the problems that it caused for the Blue Jackets there. A scramble situation with Simmons and Hartnell doing the job in front of the net. Either player could get the puck past McElhinney, who made a couple of saves in tight.
Well, that was a veteran move by Timonen because he didn't get a lot of time with that puck. So he figured, hey, I'm just going to let it go. And it was redirected, and McElhinney had to come up with a good save.
Hartnell's lost his stick. Here's Voracek, a shot and a pad save by McElhinney. Voracek trying to keep that puck alive in the offensive zone. And dump it down into the corner. And Hartnell getting his stick back. Plays the puck to Giroux. Chips it back. Timonen, another shot. That one blocked out high and then cleared all the way down by Letestu. Timonen has to go back and beat Johansson to that puck. And with 1:20 on the power play, here's Giroux sidestepping one check. Down behind the net, all the way out to Hartnell. Back to Timonen, and now to Giroux. To Hartnell for the shot! And they changed direction and dribbled wide. Now Simmons gets it back to Giroux. Looks at Hartnell, gives to Timonen. Voracek in the middle, deflected, rebound there, Simmons, a backhander, and it stays out. McElhinney went sprawling across, and somehow it stayed out. Here's Timonen to Voracek. Simmons in front. Voracek dropping it back to Timonen. And now Giroux, the one-timer. McElhinney square to the shooter. Makes the save. Timonen could not keep the puck in the zone. He'll play it back to Emery as the Flyers will make some changes here.
He made that save without his stick. He actually just slid right across in the butterfly. Giroux with the one-timer. Then he turned around and picked up his stick.
Good multitasker, right? There is Streit. Flings in. Murray bumped. Good job by the Flyers to retrieve that puck. It's Reed to Streit. And now Braden Shen. 14 seconds in the power play. And Streit. And that one get by him out to the neutral zone. And now they'll have to hurry to get one more chance. And they are hurrying. Here's Lecavalier in. Taken into the wall. And McElhinney will cover up on the puck. Power play. Power play is over.
There's a look at that opportunity, and we'll take another peek at it when we come back.
Still 1-0 Columbus.
Well, the Blue Jackets right now are the leaders rather on the board. 1-0 over the Philadelphia Flyers, but they're the losers when it comes to losing this man, Mariusz Gaborik. He is out now with a broken collarbone. And Jonesy, you're the one that caught this one right off the bat.
Yeah, contact there from Zach Rinaldo, and he was sandwiched in between Braden Coburn and Rinaldo. Picked up an assist on that play, but awful news for the Blue Jackets. Just returned to the lineup after missing a bunch of games since November the 14th with a bad knee, and that is a huge loss for Columbus, who really needs his goal scoring.
Yeah, you missed 17 games. You come back, get 4 shifts in, and now you're out indefinitely. A broken collarbone can be long term. Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
And it's difficult. You feel like you're there, and then you have to wait, and you have to be very careful with it. So wish him well in his recovery, and obviously big loss in this game for the Blue Jackets as they're down a forward. They have the 1-0 lead. That shot denied by Emery. The Flyers get to the puck. Lecavalier in front of his own net, and he'll play it to Coburn. Lecavalier a fracture in his back, and he is well before schedule. They're thinking at the earliest late December, like after Christmas, perhaps even early January, but with Downey being placed on the injured list, Lecavalier stepped it up, and here he is tonight in action.
He's looked good, too. I think he's moved well. He's gone to the traffic areas. He's driven a couple of times to the net, and that tells you that he's feeling pretty good.
Calvert into the Philadelphia zone. He got some speed, nearly split the 2 defenders, then takes a big hit from Ronaldo. Zach's been very active with the physical play. Flyers dig the puck free. Here's Coburn to Ronaldo. In across the line, Ronaldo the shot. Glove save, McElhinney. And he'll squeeze it.
Zach Rinaldo continuing to be a thorn in the side of the Blue Jackets. Flyers Santa Sacks are one of the hottest gifts to give this year. Each pack includes an autographed puck, 2 tickets to a Flyers game, Adirondack Phantoms game tickets, a 2014 Flyers calendar, and more. Finish off your shopping list with Flyers Santa Sacks, the perfect gift for every hockey fan. And we got a lot of Flyer fans here in Columbus.
Boy, there's a lot. Boy, they enjoyed that last play by Zach Ronaldo, taking the big hit on the Columbus Blue Jacket player at the other end, and then all the way back for a great shot on McElhinney.
Flyers after the puck in the offensive zone. Luke Schenn to the head to Raffl, who turns and fires. It was going wide, but grabbed by McElhinney.
Let's take a look at our Wells Fargo great check of the game, and there's been a couple of dandies here in the first half of this hockey game, but watch this one as Michael Raffl is going to come, and he's going to try to protect the puck. That's the most important thing, protect the puck. But Jack Johnson is going to take full advantage of that and just drill him, taking advantage of pinching and Raffl looking the other way.
There's Boone Jenner moving up for the Blue Jackets. He'll chip it in, try to draw another penalty. Didn't work that time. The Flyers have the puck. Here's Voracek up the right wing. Voracek all the way across. It's tipped by Gustafsson. But now Boone Jenner looking forward in center, trying to maneuver around Luke Schenn. Schenn got back, but then turned it over. Atkinson to Jenner, spinning on Schenn. Schenn still able to check him, but Atkinson picks up the battle and has the puck back out. Wisniewski just wristing one that deflects a couple of times right across the slot area.
Emery had no idea where that puck was. That was just a matter of Wisniewski letting a quick wrist shot go, and there was traffic, but boy, Emery was looking all over for it.
Blue Jackets starting back up. That one goes off of Letestu, played by Timonen. Get it hit by Trop. Simmons sidesteps Nikitin, and he's tripped up by Nikitin, but no call there as the referee also got clipped again. It's not a real good night to be a guy in a striped shirt out there. They seem to be in harm's way. She joined us late. Dan O'Rourke left this game early. He took a skate to the chest. Darcy Birchall is our only referee, 2 linesmen. Old school here from Columbus. And Marian Gaborik also leaving this game with a broken collarbone. He's, by the way, also in the last year of a contract. We didn't mention that. We were discussing the situation earlier, so it'll be an expensive injury for him as well. Foligno, good play to Anisimov, but his shot smothered by Braden Schenn, who finishes Anisimov with a good hit, and then he's jumped by Foligno, and Braden Schenn ends up in a fight with Nick Foligno. Braden just trying to get his bearings. He got a right in and then a left. Now Foligno a right. Schenn obviously still with the helmet and the shield on. Foligno sans lid. And Foligno trying that right cross. Schenn got the right hand free. Foligno's jersey is up. They usually jump in at this point, and that's what happens. So Braden Schenn, Nick Foligno. Each 5 for fighting. We'll see about anything else.
1-0 the Columbus Blue Jackets lead the Philadelphia Flyers. Let's take a look at our Independence Blue Cross fearless play of the game. And it's got to be Dan O'Rourke. I mean, these guys, night after night, they come out here. We talk about how quick the game is, how quick the players are, how fast the puck moves. Well, Dan O'Rourke got caught in the bad spot there. He will not return. And Darcy Birchall will do the rest of the night.
Here's a look at that fight. A good hit by Braden Schenn. Anisimov. Foligno responds. He does pick up the extra penalty on this play, so the Flyers will be heading to the power play as Foligno and Schenn throw a bunch of punches at each other. And Braden Schenn looks up and enjoys the replay of his fight.
Should point out, by the way, back to the official situation, that in the American Hockey League, more than half of the time they do work one referee system. So Birchall perhaps more accomplished at it than I originally alluded to in the first period. As there's just simply not enough referees to cover all the games and have 2 referee system for every game. So that might come in handy to him here tonight.
Seems pretty comfortable doing this game so far.
Here's Voracek all the way across the shot. McElhinney gets across, and then it's tipped away in front. Did it? I'm not quite sure. It did not get off the post, I don't believe, as Johansson now moves up, drops it to Letestu, and his shot ends up catching the safety netting. Great first save by McElhinney, and then the puck got lost in the slot.
3 times he's done this in this game. Got across there to make the save. Hartnell digs it out and actually pushes it a little too far from the crease area. There's the save, and there's Hartnell digging the loose puck out, just fires it across.
See Giroux lean over. He just can't believe it. He figured, oh my goodness, I'm going to get the one-timer. I'm down low. I'm going to get the puck quicker. He lets it go, and somehow McElhinney, once again, like you mentioned, Josie, is right there to make the save.
Yeah, the official was on the scene, too, to indicate that puck was not frozen. There's Anisimov centering it, ricochets, and the Flyers get to it and move up 1-10 on the power play. The Cavalier Raffle will dribble that one in. McElhaney sets it up. Blue Jacket goes tumbling down away from the play, and now Anisimov will scoop that one all the way down the ice. Two extra for roughing on Foligno, leading to this power play for the Flyers. It was not instigation, but roughing. But bouncing away, Raffle trying to retrieve, but couldn't do anything with it.
A lot of bouncing pucks in this game. The Flyers having a tough time settling that puck down, and another one here.
Streit lost the puck. Here's Atkinson's shot. Emery handles that with ease. And they'll drop it back, and the Flyers down to 25 seconds on a power play that has not gotten too much generated except for that one opportunity by Giroux. Now Couturier. Well, they tried to play that deep into the zone, but it popped out of play. The deflection. 1 hour before the Eagles continue their playoff push by battling the Bears on Sunday Night Football at primetime. Get an in-depth preview with Brian Westbrook. Plus reports from the link. Watch Eagles pregame live Sunday night at 7 only on Comcast Sports. A little different climate for that matchup as opposed to the last time the Eagles played it.
Maybe that's why the ice is bad here today. It's been pretty mild outside. And
soggy outside too, as we found out as we walked back to the hotel from the skate today.
Somebody leave the doors open?
Seems like it.
There's 7 seconds in the power play. Coburn ripping that pass across ice. Giroux gathers it. Giroux takes a look. His pass to Voracek. He's going to take it all the way around behind. Try to wrap it around, but it went out in front instead. Out of the box now is Como. He was serving the penalty. This will be icing on Columbus.
Well, Voracek had it. He had the move that he was looking for. He's so good at the wraparounds. We've seen him score on a couple of different occasions this year. Heads up play by Voracek, who's in kind of Hartnell's spot there on the power play. Hartnell goes to the front, and there's Jake trying to wrap that puck. Fedor-Tutin does a good job of getting over to help his goaltender.
Now what Jake's doing is he's moving around there probably about halfway. He's looking to see where McElhaney is to see if he's got a chance for that wraparound.
He's tied his career long with points in 6 straight games. That puck goes all the way down. Claude Giroux with a point here tonight would tie his career long point streak. I found that surprising as that puck deflects off and stick it out of play. Career that Claude Giroux has had. He's had more points than all but 2 players over the last 3 seasons in the NHL, and yet his career-long point streak is 6 games.
Really surprising, actually. That outstanding third period where he picked up 4 points. You can see the ice time, and the all-important 100th career NHL goal was the game winner.
31st player to score 100 goals in the orange and black of the Flyers.
We were talking about Bobby Ryan and the American Olympic team. How about Giroux now, the Canadian Olympic team? I mean, the way he's playing right now, I think it's a no-brainer.
Be a huge mistake not to have him on it.
Puck fired in. Now they dig for it in the Philadelphia zone. 5-a-side hockey, 6:35 to play in the second period. Johansson's goal, the only tally of this one. And the Blue Jackets control. Savard moving it ahead. Anisimov will backhand it into the Philadelphia zone. Emery sets it up there. And the net. Now Hall. Hall, buttering one that stabbed that by Ronaldo. We'll get to it in the corner. Spin away from one check. Now he's surrounded, and Gavinsky emerges with the puck. Out to center. Luke Schenn gets it right back. Now the Flyers move in. Here's Couturier. Wrist shot. Save McElhaney. And he will hang on. We'll be back.
The other night, a big win for the Flyers over the Columbus Blue Jackets. The man on the right was the goalie, Steve Mason, a former Jacket, and Claude Giroux had the tying goal and the winning goal in that. So let's take a look at our Geico quote, because, you know, Mason's played so well. So he says so many times during the year, Mason has kind of bailed us out. For us to kind of come back and get the win for him, he was really happy. For him to get some help from us once in a while is kind of good. Well, I'd say that was more than help, and Steve Mason was a very happy guy to get that win over his former team.
Yeah, he's a bit mesmerized right now by what they're showing in the big screen.
Very interesting.
They have a dancer here in Columbus, some of the Flyers.
He's got nothing on Shawnee, buddy.
He does not.
No. Nope.
Let's just leave it at that. Dubinsky beating to the puck in the Philadelphia zone. And a hooking minor indicated the Flyers are going to be shorthanded.
Mark Streit headed into the penalty box for the second time in this game, and it was the
Philadelphia,
Blue
2 minutes
Jackets
hooking.
getting in on the forecheck where Streit impeded the progress. It's a little tiny tug on the arm of Dubinsky right there in the midsection. That was enough to get the call, and the Flyers are shorthanded here at a critical time in this game. A huge kill.
Say that Virgil is calling it close both ways, so you have to adjust your game to that. Murray across Wisniewski, the shot, they score! They have deflected in front. Wisniewski has a cannon. And he just fired it. There it is, it's 2-0. Columbus.
Mark Streit heads over from that penalty box, and it's right off the draw. Umberger sets up in front of Ray Emery, providing the screen after some good puck movement. And there's the shot with Umberger's screen. Wisniewski beats Emery to the blocker side.
And we talk about Wisniewski having the cannon. There it is. A lot of the time he doesn't really get it off in time because he takes too long to do it. Right there you see him kind of turn very quickly to get it in position and let it go. But once it got going, it was cooking.
Wisniewski back after missing 6 games with an upper body injury. This will be his 19th point of the season. So he leads the Columbus Blue Jackets defense score in points, even though he missed that time. He could be a huge element for this club if he can stay healthy. He's had issues with that since joining the Blue Jackets. Number 3 on the season. Flyers down 2. Here's Voracek with a shot right into the breadbasket of McElhinney.
McElhinney's done a nice job in bouncing back after that third period loss. Catch Monday's game versus Minnesota from a Wells Fargo Center Club box seat. Enjoy the game from the premium lower level and have access to a private bar, wait service, and restrooms. Call now for the latest special offers and come out with a group and enjoy yourself.
And the Blue Jackets gain control as Johnson moved it to Como, and he'll send the pop fly to center. The Flyers getting back close to the situation they were in on Thursday night. Trailed by 3 after 2 periods. And that one, and they managed a miraculous come from behind win. That puck into the Philadelphia bench. That Ruby, in fact. Dodged out of the way. But as you said earlier, that's a well you don't want to go to very often.
You don't, and that was a big power play opportunity for Columbus. They take full advantage of it. The Flyers want to try to get one back here before the end of this period. Spend a little more time in the offensive zone and need some more testers at Curtis McElhinney. He's had a relatively easy time of it in this one.
Back to the corner, Johnson and Hartnell joust. Giroux, nice pass to Simmons, and now it's Streit with a shot that went wide. Bounces behind, then Giroux's tripped up. That's a penalty. Delayed call against Columbus, and then Hartnell turns the puck back to the Blue Jackets. And so the whistle blows. So the Flyers get that power play and that opportunity to get back within one that Jonesy was talking about.
Jack Johnson's going to get the call here as he trips up Claude Giroux. The stick between the legs there, and the referee is calling it tight here. The Flyers will have their chance to take advantage of that call as Todd Richards looks on.
Well, you know, I agree with Jimmy. I mean, Darcy Virgil, as much as he's calling it very close, obviously, accordingly, I don't think he's got 20 games in the National Hockey League, but he's doing it at both ends of the ice. But right there, Jack Johnson actually right away had the stick right between the legs.
Power play number 5 for the Flyers. Mary Nickler hoping they could put some money in her pocket, as well as cut the Columbus lead in half. Flyers have had 9 shots with their first 4 power plays. A couple of difficult saves made by McElhinney. The one on Giroux comes to mind in particular. There's Voracek. The team in center point. Deals to Giroux. Hartnell and Simmons hanging around in the slot area. Giroux will fire. That hit Hartnell, but went wide. Bounces back to the captain. He gets to Timonen. Try the other side of the ice to Voracek. Voracek drawing some players closer to him and then deals to Simmons behind the net. Out to Giroux. Giroux back to Timonen. And now it's Voracek. Into the middle. That one goes all the way through. Giroux takes it back. And then fires. Save McElhinney with the glove. And we'll squeeze it again.
Hartnell got a piece of that one. Hartnell looking up to the ceiling here. at Nationwide Arena. It was a set play. Giroux firing quickly. Scott Hartnell able to tip that puck, but McElhaney there to throw the glove up. He looked around the screen and makes a nice glove save.
Every time the puck comes back to Timonen, and he's looking up and he sees Anisimov. Well, that's 6'3" of body right there in front of him, so it makes it very tough to be able to look and see where he wants to go with it.
Gavier wins the draw here. Streit thinking shot. Now he'll wrist one, and that one goes off of Tootin to the corner. Johansson a chance to clear, and he does. 1:15 remaining on the power play. 3:40 in the second period. Streit along for Reed, through to Lecavalier and across ice. Flyers do move up. Couturier gains the line, spins the puck deep. Finished into by Lecavalier. Reed send it around at Asher all the way out to the point. Couturier looks there to Reed. Now Streit to Lecavalier, the one-timer batted away. Lecavalier catch with Shen and then gets it out to Streit. He'll fire. That hit a body in front. Reed a shot. McElhaney the save. No further play.
Outstanding job by McElhaney in looking through and being set for that rebound opportunity. Flyers doing a nice job of using the points here. Shot to the net and a quick turnaround shot by Reed, but there's McElhaney in good position.
Told you earlier about the Flyers and their road power play. Been good. Well, for it to come through right here. Voracek. To Timonen, number 1 unit back out. A wrist shot deflected, went just wide. Just dribbled wide off the redirect. And perhaps off of McElhaney as well. Now here is Giroux wristing one. It hits Hartnell. He got his stick free to get it back to Giroux, and now Timonen. Voracek. 15 seconds on the power play. Voracek moving on. Goes to Simmons. Simmons for Giroux. He missed the puck. And Timonen has to peel back as it's 2-on-1. Dubinsky with the puck. Dubinsky with an Anisimov. Dubinsky the shot off the crossbar. And back the other way go the Flyers. 3-on-2. Some thought that might have gone in. Here's Giroux for Simmons. Simmons holding and then firing. They score! If the puck did not go in at the other end, the Flyers have cut the lead to 1 as Simmons took the shot and it wound up behind McElhaney. The Flyers may have scored for a case of tasty cake.
I think they did, JJ. It was a terrific shot by Dubinsky, but I'm thinking crossbar and post and out. There's a shot by Dubinsky. Tough to tell there as he crashes into the boards. He's unable to get back in the play, and the Flyers take full advantage of it. Simmons does a nice job at cutting to the middle. There's the screen in front by Hartnell, and it gets through McElhaney.
It did hit the crossbar. I agree totally. It's going to come flying off the crossbar, giving the opportunity for the Flyers to come back on the 3-on-2. And you know the key here is we talk about trailer. Simmons is the trailer here. So he cuts back into the middle, using the traffic in front of him. It's along the ice. The puck is along the ice. So with that traffic, it doesn't allow McElhaney the opportunity to be able to see that puck. Now, Darcy Birchall is on the phone to find out.
Yeah, they'll look at it for sure. And obviously, if the Columbus goal counts, if they find that the puck did go in the net at the one end, the Flyers goal does not. But Jonesy and Coetzee are pretty sure this one did not go in, and they do know that the puck went in at the other end.
Yeah, I'm calling crossbar post on the shot by Dubinsky. We'll take a look at the overhead. This will clearly tell us. Crossbar is right there.
Post.
Really
Wow.
both post and out. So Simmons takes it the other way, and as Coetzee described so eloquently, does a nice job taking the puck to the middle and gets it past Curtis McElhaney.
Upon further review, the shot went off the crossbar down this end, so we have a good goal for Philly.
So Darcy Birchall makes it official. Wayne Simmons has his 7th of the year, and Richards' glove has seen its lead cut in half.
That shot by Dubinsky really moved the net. Terrific shot, just didn't have the puck luck. Ray Emery would say, I had the angle cut off perfectly, and Wayne Simmons will say thank you very much at the other end of the ice.
So, 1-goal game as the Flyers tip it to the Columbus line. Peter McEaton after the puck there. Now Reed tips it into the Columbus zone. Lecavalier catching up to it. Spins. Takes a look in the middle. Fires Reed. Tipped it. Couturier shot. They score! Just like that, it's tied. Sean Couturier a tasty cake.
Well, the new look line pays off here as Berube elects to put Lecavalier on the wing in the absence of Downey, and Vinny does a nice job here recognizing Reed's going to the net. He takes a swipe at it. Couturier is there to follow it up and gets it past the pad of McElhinney.
Watch the feet of Couturier. He puts the brakes on. So many guys skate away, but right here he's going to stay there. What happens? Well, it's a bonus. He's got an opportunity of facing the net, left-hand shot, and gets it by McElhinney.
Right off the skate of the Blue Jackets defender as Reed was driving him towards the corner, and there's Couturier to clean it up.
20 seconds separate the two Philadelphia tallies. Talk about the old cliche, the game of inches. Dubinsky's shot goes in. It's 3-0. Moments later, it's 2-2. Strange game.
It is.
Game of hockey. 1:35 remaining in the period. Emery will play it to the board. Strike tipped it, and the Flyers have control as they move up with it. Schenn will play it into the Columbus zone. Simmons pursues. Again, this is a young Columbus club, second youngest team in the NHL. And they came apart a little bit. In fact, a big bit in Philadelphia on Thursday. And you got to wonder if they're somewhat rattled right now.
The Flyers want to keep pushing here for this last minute of this period. You don't want to allow this young Blue Jackets team to get into that locker room.
There's another turnover. Giroux gets to the puck. Giroux handling in traffic. 1 minute remaining in the period. Voracek gets the puck to Giroux again. Giroux out to the point. Gustafsson a shot, and it's blocked in front. Dubinsky after it, and now it's knocked down with a high stick by Gustafsson, so play is halted.
Well, let's take a look at our power back rehabilitation comeback goal as Sean Couturier, as the Flyers come back to tie this hockey game. The puck comes right out front, but Couturier does such a great job. In the Columbus Blue Jackets, they have not one but two guys standing here watching. Look at Foligno. Instead of looking at Couturier, he's looking at the puck. And that's our power back rehabilitation comeback goal of the game.
44 seconds remaining in the period as Emery played it behind the net, but there was a Blue Jacket there. Then Emery tripped him up. Oh, Burchell missed that one. And the Blue Jackets keep the puck in the zone as Foligno checked by Coburn, dug loose by Umberger. Umberger in the slot. The shot Johansson blocked. It's the Blue Jackets applying the pressure here in the final moments of the period. Toss it comes to Murray. His shot off a shin pad and then a skate to the corner. Foligno after it. Wheels it into the corner. Coburn's there. His pass deflects to Giroux. He shovels it over the head of Murray and down the ice. And it runs out of steam. No icing. The Flyers pursue the puck here, but the Blue Jackets have it. And that's how the second period comes to an end. And it burst late in the period. 2 goals separated by 20 seconds. Wayne Simmons and then Sean Couturier. Ray Emery and the Flyers have caught the Blue Jackets again. It's 2-2 after 40 minutes. Tonight's Flyers Blue Jackets second period was brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Tonight's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $60 million. So play today. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. Coach C set to chat downstairs with one of the Flyers' goal scorers, Wayne Simmons.
Thanks very much, Jimmy. And I'm going to go out on a limb, but I think this hockey club's got an awful lot of confidence right now. I mean, you're down 2-0. The other night you fought back, and once again you're doing it again.
That second period we thought we were playing well. So obviously they get that goal on the power play. Our power play, you know, we've been getting chances, but we haven't been scoring goals. So you just got to keep pushing, and that's what we're doing.
You know, they always say you come close to one end and the other end they come and score. You did the other end. Talk about, because you did the perfect spot. You knew that you were in the spot as being a trailer. Why did you move into the middle?
Well, I just saw the guys driving the net, and I thought if I got to the middle, I could get a better shot off. And I know G and Hertzy were driving, and they could get a screen on them. So I just cut to the middle, let the shot off, and those two guys did most of the work. They got the screen, and it went in.
Saber, thanks very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Jimmy, back to you.
After a 10-game goal drought, Simmons now 2 goals in his last 3 games. John Boric and Rick Tocchet supply their analysis as our coverage of Flyers hockey on Comcast Sportsnet continues after these messages. Tonight's third period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Philadelphia Super Network Buick GMC dealers and by McDonald's. Now McDonald's, any size iced coffee, or sweet tea is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Just about set for the start of the third period here at Nationwide Arena. Flyers' first trip to Columbus in over 3 calendar years, and it is a 2-2 game. The third period between these teams, of course, produced a lot of fireworks back in Philadelphia. We'll see what's in store here tonight. There's the second period scoring summary. They've changed that second goal, as you'll notice at the top. For Columbus, R.J. Umberger evidently getting a piece of that offering from Wisniewski. So it's Umberger's goal is 9th from Wisniewski and Murray before the Flyers got their 2 goals within 20 seconds. And speaking of that game Thursday, the goals came rapid fire for the Flyers.
They did. It was Jake Voracek that started the scoring in that third period. The first of 5 on the spinorama goal there. And they just continued to bring the pressure. Braden Coburn, a little bit of good luck there as he bounced that one in. Gustafsson jumped in. A couple of defensemen getting goals in a row there. And then the captain took over, Claude Giroux, with the tying goal and the unbelievable backhand game-winning shot there. With the gun back in the holster, and the Flyers had a 5-4 win.
And here tonight, pretty obvious Toyota turning point. When you think about it, Flyers were down 2-0. And then this happened, Coatsy.
Well, let's take a look at our Toyota turning point. What it's going to be is you come close at one end. Brandon Dubinsky figures he's got a goal. No. Bang! Right off the crossbar, off the pipe, and back it comes the other way with an odd man rush for the Philadelphia Flyers. Wade Simmons is the trailer. Along the ice, the shot goes, and right here, the tying goal in 22nd. Sean Couturier tying it up as we head to the third period, all tied. That's a Toyota turning point.
Yeah, that's a genuine Toyota turning point right there. The game perhaps turning on that one shot, coming close but not going in, and then the Flyers taking advantage at the other end. Here come the Blue Jackets right off the get-go. Around, try save Emery on Dubinsky, but Dubinsky has the puck back for a shot that goes high and wide. And the Blue Jackets right to the attack here in the third. Back to the point. 2. We go across ice. Jack Johnson breaks his stick on that shot. And the puck is then cleared back up the ice and all the way down. It's going to be icing against Philadelphia. The Blue Jackets spend the first 32 seconds of this third period looking to get their lead back.
Take a look at some of the Twitter shots of the second period. Love the resiliency of this team, absolutely. The way they came back there with the 2 goals in 20 seconds. And, of course, Sean Couturier involved again, picking up that huge tying goal, getting past Foligno and getting some open space there and enough room to put the puck under McElhinney.
And, of course, all aboard the Wayne train, which got the comeback started at first goal. Another icing goal against Philadelphia here. Stutter step to start this third for the Flyers.
Blue Jackets had the benefit of the intermission to slow things down and calm down, and they've come out here firing in the first 39 seconds. The Flyers have been forced to ice the puck twice, and you can be sure Todd Richards had a very strong message for his team coming into the third period.
Yeah, we had mentioned that Blue Jackets, the second youngest team in the NHL, only Winnipeg younger. There's a centering pass, jabbed at by Emery, another shot blocked, and then Timonen stabs it out to the neutral zone. And certainly we could notice that they were rattled in the third period on Thursday night, and they seemed rattled late in the second period here tonight. But that intermission gives them time to settle down, and they seem to have. And they're the team getting the scoring chances early here in the third. Flyers trying to get their bearings. Foligno knocks down that pass. Stick was not too high. They get it back to Wisniewski for a shot that deflects to the corner. And now Umberger in traffic is stripped to the puck by Coburn. Coburn wrestled to the boards. Gets some help, though, from Al Gill. Actually, Lecavalier had reached behind him and got it to Reed, who overskated. Couturier carries on. He pumps it into the zone and goes and gets it. Couturier fires it back through. Lecavalier handles it off the wall. Tried to get it to the point. Intercepted by Foligno. And he'll get the puck to Wisniewski.
Kind of feels like the first period all over again down here, where Columbus is coming out firing, being very aggressive, winning the one-on-one battles in the Flyers zone right now. Flyers got to calm down a little bit and start back in the other direction.
The puck goes all the way down the ice. Will not be icing. Gustafsson or Simmons just lifts it up out to center. Gets it back off the stick of Hartnell. Now it's Simmons in across the line. Simmons to the backhand. Center! Tipped wide by Hartnell. That close was Scott Hartnell to the tie-breaking goal on his 500th NHL point. Schenna's shot, and that's denied by McElhinney. Another shot. Simmons stopped by the big goaltender, and he covers up. So after the Blue Jackets get some opportunities in the first minute, the Flyers come back with some of their own in the second minute and plus.
It's the veterans Simmons and Hartnell who come out firing and getting traffic to the net. Simmons just missing Hartnell with that opportunity. And as the play continued, it's Simmons and Luke Schenn battling for the puck. The eventual redirection to Simmons, who got it through to the crease.
That was a good effort by Luke Schenn. Let that shot go immediately. A lot of things happen.
Off the draw shot, and McElhinney another save as Timonen was denied. And then finally it's Dubinsky ahead. Boone Jenner. And he'll get it to Como, who is stopped in center. But still has the advantage in chances for the game. The Flyers had cut into what was a pretty good sized lead. There's Jack Johnson circling. There's cross ice. Tootin will play it all the way down. That's icing against Columbus.
Well, you can make plans now to go to the Flyers Wives Carnival on Sunday, January the 26th at the Wells Fargo Center. Here's your chance to meet your favorite Flyers up close and personal. For tickets, visit FlyersCarnival.com and come on out and enjoy the afternoon with the guys.
Always a great time for a great cause. Look forward to that every year. Such a busy year with the Olympic break and condensed schedule leading up to it. And of course, the long road trips, they're longer road trips than perhaps we're accustomed to, with the schedule being back to playing each team in their building at least once a year. So makes for a lot of time on the road, but still time certainly for the Carnival. Have a great time and raise some money as that puck goes back into the zone offside.
Talking about that Olympic break, unfortunately for Marian Gaborik, he will not be part of the Olympics this year after suffering the injury here in the first period when he was caught in between a big hit from Zach Rinaldo and Braden Coburn on the other side. Sandwiched him. He broke his collarbone. Won't obviously return to this one, and he won't be available to head to the Olympics over in Sochi.
One wouldn't think. Broken collarbone should be long term. Sometimes they can be slight fractures, but still, collarbone, you really can't do a whole lot in terms of rehabbing until proper healing takes place. So it usually is a long-term injury.
Yeah, and that's even worse news for this guy, Todd Richards, who just got his sniper back in the lineup and is forced to juggle his lines even in this game with a short bench.
Yeah, they gave up quite a bit to get Gaborik. They did acquire two prospects with him, but they gave up Derek Brassard, Moore, Eric Dorsett, and a Brad Pitt last year. Here is Simmons trying to get that out in front. He was stopped, knocked to his knees, and used his glove, they say, to play the puck to Schenn. Simmons disagrees with Darcy Birchall on this one. Thought that he got his stick on the puck, but the face-off will go out to center ice.
Birchall's done a pretty good job here being by himself, and Simmons just stating his case there, but not arguing too much.
He's been very authoritative. I like the way he's handled it. He's taken over this hockey game, understands his position, and there was no question. He said that puck was pushed by Simmons, and he said the face-off comes outside the blue line.
There are some old school people out there who will see this and say, "Yeah, go back to the one referee system." There are some people who...
I always liked it. Yeah. I'll tell you that because I got away with a lot.
That's what I say. That's the key. Get away with a lot away from the puck, right?
I don't think the league's going to look at that as a reason to bring it back.
I would not.
Puck into the Philadelphia zone, and the pass from Jenner. Jenner tried to catch up to this. And they'll swing it around behind the Philadelphia net. Letestu battling. Puck dug free. And Trop gets it out to the point. Comes across now to Savard for a shot. Score! Emery did not react at all. He did not see it, and the Blue Jackets are back on top, 3-2.
They came out here ready to go in this third period, and the Flyers are going to have to respond quickly here as they go to work in the offensive zone. It's going to be David Savard at the point here with a lot of traffic in front. Good snapshot there with Corey Trop providing some screen, and Emery can't come up with it.
Real hard to pick up what exactly happened. Savard's going to take the wrist shot. You see all the traffic. Maybe get a better look here. Savard, you got Letestu in front. You got actually two Flyers, two Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't think Emery had any clue where that puck was.
So the Blue Jackets back on top. Although we're getting word that they've lost another player for the balance of this game, as Matt Calvert being told will leave this game with upper body injury. That shot in front denied, and then it rattled around in the slot for a moment. And the Flyers are offside as they re-enter the zone. So they've lost Gaborik and Calvert to the injury. And yet, David Savard, given credit for that goal, has put them on top.
That brings them down to 10 forwards, so they're going to have to it's going to be interesting what Todd Richards does. Is he try to rotate forward, double shift a couple of guys, or go with 3 and just insert the extra forward?
David Savard with that goal. He's a guy who put up huge points at junior level. A little tougher to come by at the NHL. He's got his second goal. Now here's Atkinson getting to this puck. Gill catches up to him and rides him into the boards and dumps him to the ice. The puck dribbles across, and Emery will stab it ahead to Reed. Now wanted a penalty. They won't get it, and Reed will wind it into the Columbus zone. LeCavalier couldn't knock it down. Perhaps he was letting it go, but no one at the point, and Strike has to play it in the neutral zone. Almost 5 minutes into this third period. LeCavalier backhanded cross-ice pass kicked by Wisniewski. Right back to LeCavalier. His pass for Couturier. He's got it. Back in front. LeCavalier backhanded, but it went wide behind the net. Out it goes to Gustafsson. We'll go across ice. Luke Schenn to Couturier. Couturier, a shot blocked, goes to Reed, turning. Goes back to the point. Luke Schenn, his shot deflection. Save back, letting rebound. LeCavalier! He couldn't finish! LeCavalier had it, and he could not finish it. Now Schenn, a blind pass to the middle, and here go the Blue Jackets the other way. Como with it. Como the shot. Wide, and that ricochets all the way out to Wisniewski. Schenn turns back with the puck. Now got it to Couturier, and ahead it goes. We're being told that that puck from LeCavalier hit the post, and so that was almost an exact replica of what happened in the second period, only reversed in terms of the teams. But the Blue Jackets did not finish at the other end, at least not yet. Timonen wraps his man up. That puck ricochets to Anisimov. Got it back to Savard, and now in the middle, all along the shot. They score! Nikitin fires from the point. Again, traffic in front. 4-2 Columbus.
So McElhinney came up with a huge save at the other end, robbing Vinny LeCavalier, who was attempting to tie this game up. And at the other end, it's Nikitin that lets another rocket goal from the point with a good screen set up in front. Here's the LeCavalier shot here. Watch the glove of McElhinney. He's going to stick that glove out here as Vinny tries to elevate it. Glove there, pushes it back out of the net. And then the goal at the other end on the shot by Nikitin. With the traffic in front, Savard sets him up.
Well, Nikitin's just going to wind up and let it go like we've seen before. The same thing with Savard. A lot of traffic. And right here, you can see, look at it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 people right in front of Emery. He had no clue where the puck was. When my angle, I thought it hit the pipe, but you can see that was a great get. But McElhinney got it right at the last second on LeCavalier.
So 3 straight goals by the Blue Jackets that have just been offerings from the point. And they've either wound up in the net through a screen or off a deflection. They get the puck again, Johansson, and he'll get it back out. The Blue Jackets looking for their own huge third period now as the Flyers need to get their bearings in a hurry. Johansson trying to play that back to the point. Foligno thought there was somebody there. Johansson was in the middle of the ice, so he has to go back to his own zone to get it. Tipped in center. It sits at the Philadelphia line. Giroux could not get it cleanly. Chops it, Foligno, the puck into the slot. Nearly got through, and now it's Strike. Gets it to Giroux, and he'll fire it into the Columbus zone. Reed did not get to that. Wisniewski will move it ahead. Foligno will bounce that to the left of Emery. Hal Gill. It's to Strike. Now Strike to Reed, and across it goes. Punted right back through center ice by the Blue Jackets. They surge to it. Letestu, a backhander off of Emery and out to Wayne Simmons. Simmons quickly checked by Como. And pretty stationary there for Gill. It's to Strike for Simmons. Punches it up into the air, and Couturier finds the puck. Gonna shovel it across ice. Wisniewski with a hand pass, and now the arm goes up from the referee as well. An interference penalty upcoming. Simmons, apparently the guilty party.
Jackets lead the Flyers 4-2. Let's take a look at our Hyundai save of the game. It's that guy right there. McElhinney is going to unbelievably get a glove. Now watch, looks like Vinny LeCavalier's got a wide open net. But no, right at the last second, watch the glove of McElhinney as he just gets a piece of it. And you come close at one end and you go to the other end, and Columbus makes it 4-2. Went from 3-3 possibly to 4-2. And on top of that now, Wayne Simmons picks up an interference call.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as immediate as the Flyers going down the ice and scoring after the puck hit the post. Emery had to close that one down right off the draw, but it was pretty quickly thereafter that they got that goal. Similar kind of turnaround in reverse. Now the power play for the Blue Jackets with Simmons off for interference. And the Flyers get the puck. Matt Reed. Couturier. Blast one in from center. McElhinney gloves it and hangs out a long time, but no whistles. To move up. They're changing the scoring on one of those Columbus goals. Boone Jenner now getting credit for that last goal. So he was deflected as well in front.
They've done a nice job in the traffic department, and Ray Emery's had a lot of bodies to look through at some of these point shots. Boone Jenner gets credit for that redirection in front of the net.
And Keaton and Savard will more likely get the assist on Jenner's 4th of the year. That really has been their recipe. Pretty simple. Get it to the point, fire, go to the net. And look for tips. And in the case of Savard's goal, if you don't get the tip, you at least screen the goaltender. That's an offside of the Philadelphia line.
Well, Flyers Santa Sacks are still available. Each pack includes an autographed puck, 2 tickets to a Flyers game, Adirondack Phantoms game tickets, a 2014 Flyers calendar, and more. Be the best gift giver this season with Flyers Santa Sacks.
8 items in there for sure. This Cam Atkinson getting the puck back out to Ryan Murray. They set up the power play. Anisimov shot deflected and went wide. Behind the net, Foligno. Behind the cage again as he moved to the corner. Lucien is right there. Went off a high stick on its way down. So as soon as Columbus touches the puck, blow play net and the faceoff went suit in Columbus ice with 46 seconds remaining on the Simmons penalty.
You can hear the communication up here on the ice, talking to Luke Schenn to let him know he had time to spin with that puck and find the open ice. He took full advantage of that. Good work from his teammates, and Columbus had to high stick that puck to try to keep it in the zone.
Flyers win the draw. Big shot, Coburn, and it's blocked. Timonen wrists one and then handled in the midsection by McElhinney. And the Flyers get another offensive zone draw on the penalty kill.
Well, the way this game's going, don't go away. Anything can happen. You got some great opportunities at both ends of the ice, and the Flyers certainly not quitting in this one with a couple of quick shots to the point there. 11:26 is an awful long time.
You know, if the Flyers get one, that the Blue Jackets have to be thinking about Thursday and the fact that they let that get away. The number that was pretty incredible was they had never given away a lead, in regulation at least, having the advantage after 2 periods under Todd Richards until Thursday. There is Johnson. Taken by Johansson to Umberger. Umberger all the way across 2. Now Johnson, the shot deflected, and it goes high. Same exact scenario there. Oh, missed the target. Now here's Dubinsky. Looks to Johansson. Johansson looks in the middle. It's batted away. Coburn a chance to clear. It's back to him. Second try. And they'll maneuver it out to the neutral zone, and that'll do it. Simmons steps out of the penalty bench. Flyers back to full strength. 10:43 remaining. Third period, a 2-goal hockey game. Back Johnson around for Dubinsky. Dubinsky back toward the point, tipped away by Simmons. Simmons disrupted somewhat. He's able to get to the puck. And then he's checked again and lost it deep into the Columbus zone and then crashes into the boards. Flyers get the puck. Here's Strike. Sends it along. There's Simmons behind the net. Simmons centering. Went off a skate. Hartnell digging away. Loose puck back out. Strike shot. That's blocked. Still loose. Finally batted to the other side of the ice, and it's a 2-on-1 for Columbus. Trot with the puck. Trot. Waits. Fires. Save. Emery. Oh, Gustafsson goes down awkwardly. He's hurt. Gustafsson's hurt and in trouble, and they're going to let play continue. Here's the shot. Murray. Save Emery. He'll hang on, and then a player decked in front, and that might be a penalty on Hartnell. Burchell is pointing right now as if there might be a call. We'll wait and see. He didn't put the arm up in the air, but he was pointing. Never know when the play stops whether they're going to call a penalty there. And Gus, of course, getting some attention.
Gustafsson going to drive back to the net, drops, shoots the puck, and then runs over Gustafsson there on the back leg. And you can see the amount of pain that he is in as he goes down. An accidental collision there. And we'll have to see how bad Gustafsson is as he's on the ice with the athletic trainer, Jimmy McCrossan.
And he did a great job on playing that 2-on-1. He's actually going to force Trop to be able to take the shot. Becomes 1-on-1 with Emery right there. Now, Gustafsson's going to move in front of him, and as he moves in front of him, that's where he gets that leg-to-leg action. And right there, you see, dragged that leg, and very quickly you could see he was in agony with the pain as he fell to the ice.
He's going to go right off toward the locker room with Jim McCrossin behind him. So some attention will be given to Gustafsson, who's got himself into Craig Berube's lineup, and we were just asking Craig Berube about Gus the other day, and he was very happy with his play this time into the lineup. Unfortunately, an injury now.
You see he didn't want to leave as he was walking off. He'll try to walk that off in behind the scenes and see if it's something that he can shake off and get back in this game.
Past the midpoint of this third period, Reed moving up with the puck for Philadelphia, backhands it. Flop looks it ahead to Letestu. 3-on-2, 4-on-3 now, but the Blue Jackets misfiring the pass. The Flyers looking for 2-on-1 the other way, but that pass broken up by Wisniewski to Trop. Philadelphia line, Trop. Fired back by Coburn. Played it to the point. It's tipped by Lecavalier, kept in the zone. Wisniewski, as he's falling to the ice, played it into the corner for Como. Como pitched to the ice by Couturier, and now it's Coburn trying to gather that bouncing puck behind the net. Now Reed ahead. Strike, turns at the red line with not a lot of support behind him. He is able to get that puck back to Schenn. And now Giroux, right wing dish to Voracek. Voracek cutting off the wall, but he's checked. And it's Anisimov the other way with Foligno. Anisimov will play it in and hope to get to it himself. He and Luke Schenn and the puck all in the same spot. It kicks around, rattles for Emery, a jab at it. And now it's Foligno. Back toward the point, intercepted by Voracek. Got it out to the neutral zone. Played right back in by Columbus. They have to clear the zone. They'll go for a change. Al Gill with the puck to Luke Schenn. And he turns it over and is flung into the Philadelphia zone by Dubinsky.
Columbus much better in this third period of protecting the red line, not allowing the Flyers to get over the center ice line and get pucks in deep.
Pass ahead. Schenn to Simmons. He hit a teammate in the back, and so Umberger to it. And from the red line, he'll dump it. It takes a strange hop. Emery decides to dive on top of that. 8:22 remaining third period. Flyers down 2. James, thank you very much. Flyers trying to stir up another comeback here. And they are down 2 past the halfway point of this third period. Berube has seen his team outshoot Columbus pretty heavily after the first period, but they're still down where it counts. That shot by Johnson batted away and all the way out to Matt Reed in the middle. Let him all backhands, didn't get much on that. And Umberger looks to set sail the other way. Coburn will reach around him and poke the puck through the boards. The Blue Jackets have it right back. Tootin. Levinsky back to Johnson. Pass sent all the way down, but in on Emery, so no icing. And they'll get to Couturier. On Couturier. Red line to Cavalier. Hit strike. Strike moving in, looks to the middle, and that pass gobbled up by Trop. He'll move it to Johansson, and suddenly it's a 2-on-1. Johansson, the shot, he scores! Ryan Johansson's second of the night, 14th of the year. Jackets now up 5-2.
Pretty well timed as the Blue Jackets enter the zone and turn it into a 2-on-1. It looked like Foligno was very close to being offside, but Johansson does a nice job here, drawing it back and firing it around Braden Coburn, who's trying to take the pass away.
That's a heck of a play by Johansson to show the patience. You could see he put the brakes on, appeared like he was going to take the shot, then kind of brought it back. Then, as Coburn went sliding by him, he took advantage of maybe Emery not picking up that puck, coming off with the stick of Johansson.
Third goal of this third period for Columbus. The Flyers back the other way, but Voracek's shot is deflected out of play. Turnabout fair play. It's the Columbus Blue Jackets with a third period explosion this time around.
They've really done an outstanding job of keeping their defensemen in and pressuring the Flyers in the offensive zone. They end up getting this last goal off the rush, but the previous 2 goals coming from point shots with bodies in front and some good offensive zone time that they've been able to turn around as the Flyers have taken the momentum back late in the period.
Yeah, a well-timed intermission. Giving them the chance to get their composure back. Anisimov sends that puck deep into Philadelphia ice. It looked like that shot might have gone off of the stick of Schenn. So again, it'd be tough to blame Emery on that because he took off on the top shelf. Here they come again. Como in, around behind, out the other side. And it was rejected as Voracek goes the other way. Voracek. Double team, but it was Ryan Murray who hit the ice. Raffl to the puck. Raffl swarmed the puck. Got it back to Voracek. Stepping in front. He's checked, never got a shot off. And again, the Blue Jackets looking to break, and they do get the puck down the ice.
Really good defensive read by James Wisniewski there as Voracek looked like he was going to step towards the net, but Wisniewski went down, put his stick in the passing lane, and was able to knock the puck away.
Hartnell moving in. His pass blocked. Now Brayden Schenn takes a look, got it back out. Luke Schenn, his shot was muffled out high, and they tried to get it back to Brayden Schenn, but it was tipped away, and Luke will have to retrieve for Philadelphia. Oh, he wipes out, does maneuver to his brother, and Brayden hits Wayne Simmons. Simmons plays it around one Blue Jacket and then gets knocked down by Hartnell, who's trying to get to that puck. Puck bouncing free, back out, shot straight, and a save made by McElhaney. Strike got all that. McElhaney with the answer. Nice pass here to LeCavalier, but he couldn't hang on. Now Strike battling the bouncing puck. It's been bouncing a lot. He's just going to play it in along the boards, hoping for Brayden Schenn. He was sealed off. Coburn jab it back around behind the net for Brayden Schenn. He's upended, and then LeCavalier is thrown off the puck by Savard. Flyers, though, get it back. Here's Coburn, a shot. It went wide through traffic. Strite after it. Strite trying to drop that back. Hartnell fan, but the puck makes its way to Brayden Schenn, who turns with it. Tried to center, but right on the stick of Nikitin, who clears the zone.
Brayden Schenn looking for Vinny Lecavalier, who was kind of sliding into the slot area there, but the Blue Jackets read it and were in the perfect position to knock it away.
Lecavalier gets that puck to Reed for a shot. It's blocked. He gets it back, cuts in, and then misfired as it went to the corner. Reed back to the puck. On behind for Lecavalier, trying to center. Block, gets it back, centers, got it as far as Couturier. Now it's Gill around behind the net, hoping for Lecavalier out of his reach. Reed got it poked away. And Johansson will move it up to Trop. Trop could not maneuver through with the puck. Goes after, engulfed by Gill, and Couturier has the puck back for Gill. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Flyers need 3 to tie. Here's Voracek. Surrounded by blue jerseys. Still got that puck to Couturier. And they barrel after it in the corner. Flyers get it back to Timonen across ice. Coburn shot, and McElhaney takes a peek, but he's got it in the glove. Blue Jackets 5, Flyers 2. Tonight's Flyers Blue Jackets game was brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Wells Fargo. If you're considering buying your first home, Wells Fargo is with you. Wells Fargo, together we go far. Happy holidays to you and yours from all of us, Comcast Sportsnet. Christmas approaching. And Flyers with one more game before they break for Christmas. Timonen a shot here into heavy traffic. McElhaney through that traffic, able to knock it away. They're home against Minnesota on Monday, and then the Flyers won't play again until after Christmas. So Emery to the bench, extra attacker on for the Flyers. Simmons all the way around, centered it, and the puck skips back out toward the blue line. Timonen there. Pumpin goes off the stick to the corner, and now it's played up and out. So 6 skaters on 5. The empty net for the Flyers with well over 3 minutes to play as Craig Berube tries to get back into this, get one, and then maybe get the Blue Jackets thinking a little bit. They'll get an offensive zone draw here.
I like the enthusiasm. You got nothing to lose by pulling the goalie here.
Take a look at the Blue Jackets here in the third period. There's a shot by David Savard, traffic in front. Keaton blasts away. Jenner gets a piece of that one. That made it 4-2, and then Johansson comes down, scores a real pretty goal. The decoy play on the 2-on-1. Foligno driving the net, and you can see it was Ray Emery that he beat there. Ray Emery on the bench here for the extra attacker.
So of course, mission number 1, get control of the puck. You've got one more skater to do that. LeCavier goes against Dubinsky on this faceoff. Sits in the circle. And it's Johansson backhanding it out to Dubinsky. Empty net. Stick comes free. Dubinsky upended as he takes the backhand. It goes off the outside of the post and no penalty call. Another shot blocked. A little hesitation. Now Giroux gets the puck ahead. There's might have gotten a break or two right there as Couturier moves the puck to LeCavier for a shot. Save rebound. Oh, what a save by McElhinney. The first stop was good. The second one great. And he keeps Columbus up by 3. Claude Giroux frustrated.
Outstanding job by McElhinney there. The rebound kicked out right to the slot area after they had their opportunity to score in the empty net. It's Dubinsky here that gets tripped by Braden Colbert. No call on the play. Flyers catch a break there, and then you'll see the opportunity. The Cavalier shot and the rebound.
Well, McElhinney has been outstanding east-west. There's no two ways about it. We've seen on more than one occasion him go pipe to pipe to make some great saves for his hockey club tonight.
Yeah, 30 of them he's made, and his numbers here at Nationwide Arena have been tremendous. Save percentage and goals against numbers. He's helping those numbers out again here tonight. 3:05 left. Net remains empty for Philadelphia. Remember, if you have a penalty on a player going in on an empty net, it's a goal. But no call made there, so the Flyers still breathing, although barely. They're down 3. Less than 3 minutes to play now in the third. Scrum for the puck in the corner. It's not an outnumbered situation. There's 3-on-3. Flyers now finally to 4th, and ever so do the Blue Jackets. Where's the puck? It's somewhere along the boards. Blue Jackets don't mind this time. A wasting finally. Oh, back to the point, and Couturier could not keep the bouncing puck in the zone. Now he fires it back in. Flyers have to retouch. Blue Jackets get to it. Tootin to Letestu. He couldn't clear. Strike. Backhands to the slot. Reed on the backhand. Back out. Shot! Glove save. McElhinney off of LeCavier, who's a little gimpy. He went down in the corner in that scramble, and a little gimpy going back to the bench. Might just be tired.
He was. Yeah, Mark Streit also tired as he headed to the bench. Let's take a look at our Mazda top shelf performers. Wayne Simmons picks up his 7th goal of the season. Claude Giroux extends that 6-game point streak. Marian Gaborik picked up an assist in his first game since November the 14th, and then immediately left the game after that play where he got the assist with a broken collarbone. James Wisniewski back, he also contributed, and Craig Berube here trying to keep pushing his guys here late in the game.
Yeah, that Giroux point streak tying his career long.
Well, let's take a look at our Bud Light player of the game. And Ryan Johansson, well, he was the number 4 overall pick taken in 2010 by the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's a big man, great hands, and right here you're going to see the opportunity to give the Columbus Blue Jackets a 1-0 lead. And then right here, just a couple of minutes ago, he'll draw the puck in towards him, wait for Coburn to go by, and bang, it's a 5-2 hockey game. He's getting the first and 5th goal for the Jackets in this one.
He's still only 21, Coach. They have very high hopes for him. The leading point getter right off the draw. The Blue Jackets cleared all the way down after the timeout by the Flyers. And that'll be icing. Of course, up 3. You can afford to take a crack at the empty net from your side of the red line.
That is fair. Goaltenders will be trying to shoot at the empty net in this situation, but McElhinney's been very good in the third period. And the Flyers are trying to get one by.
Lots of injury news in this one. Not only is Jonesy talked about Gabbert, but the Blue Jackets losing Matt Calvert to an injury.
Yep.
And the Flyers, Eric Gustafsson, I don't believe has returned since leaving with what looked to be a leg injury. Flyers playing this game without Nick Grossman, who had the flu. Well, they won the face-off, but the whistle stops play. And they do it all over again.
Well, they had some confusion.
Maybe? No, they're going to change the time.
The time, Darcy Birchall did a great job. He actually came over and he said, guys, put 2 seconds back on the clock. They didn't do it. So they went back, figured it was all done, went to drop the puck again, and they realized that they hadn't changed the time. Now they've changed the time. Speaking of injuries, Dan O'Rourke. Referee left this game with an injury, and Birchall's done a pretty good job handling it by himself as the only referee. Flyers the cross-ice pass that's intercepted. Dubinsky firing it all the way down wide to the net. That'll be icing again.
There's standing by that rule of thumb that you can fire the puck down the ice when you're up by 3, and not sure if Todd Richards likes that or not. That expression tells me he didn't enjoy it very much.
I think he had something to say to Dubinsky when he went by, because Dubinsky kept looking at him.
Pretty good face-off team, but the Flyers win this one. Here's Streit. Now the angle shot never makes it through. Giroux centering, loose puck bounces all the way back out to Streit. And they send it in front. That one goes all the way through and back out. Giroux has it again. Giroux, there's it wide of the net. Streit in. It's it to Voracek. Voracek to the slot, down low, backhand, and they score. Wayne Simmonds able to backhand that one past McElhaney. He has his second of the night. And the Flyers are within 2 with 1:41 to play. They're not dead yet. Simmons scores again for a case of Tasty Cake.
Now you know why Todd Richards was shaking his head at Dubinsky for icing the puck. Flyers end up getting control of the puck off the face-off, and Wayne Simmonds picks up the goal there to get to within 2, and still 1:41 left in this one.
It's all a matter of Streit does a great job of pitching along the wall. Then watch Simmonds. He's all by himself. 3 Columbus Blue Jackets all looking at him. He had the patience to wait, move from post to post, and beat McElhaney.
So 3 goals in the last 3 games for Simmonds. Voracek should get an assist. That will extend his point streak to 7 games. That's a career long. More importantly, the Flyers still breathing. The biggest obstacle right now, the time. There goes Emery to the bench. Again, the extra attacker's on. Johnson clears, and that one will dribble on. Now Coburn has to get going. And Umberger beats him to it, and Umberger scores. R.J. Umberger with the empty net goal, and Columbus back up by 3 that quickly at 6-3.
Coburn didn't sense Umberger was as close as it was. RJ sniffed out that goal and was able to track that puck down. Picks up his second goal of the game. He lifts the stick of Coburn there and then just guides it into the empty net.
That's a tough play for Coburn. Like you had mentioned, he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, and then all of a sudden his stick's lifted. And the momentum also, the stride that Umberger had picked up by the time he got to the blue line, he had a little bit more speed at that spot.
So the former Flyer gets his 9th of the year and his 2nd, or actually 10th of the year, his 2nd of the game. Remember, he was given credit for the 2nd Columbus goal after the fact. So a couple of 2-goal games for the Blue Jackets and 1 for the Flyers. But 6 on the night for Columbus is going to be enough. 45 seconds remaining now in the 3rd. Flyers with a 5-goal 3rd period on Thursday, and the Blue Jackets have replied with a 4-goal 3rd period of their own. Battle behind the Columbus net. Hall took a spill. And Nikitin will just shovel that one to the Philadelphia line. Coburn backhands it around to the other side of the ice. There's Simmonds. Head. Flyers changing some players. And the final seconds begin to tick off the clock here at Nationwide Arena. So the Flyers' first visit to Columbus in over 3 years wind up with a loss. The Columbus Blue Jackets are in a split of this home-and-home series as they win it 6-3. Ryan Johansson scores 2. R.J. Umberger scores 2. McElhaney was good when he had to be. Made some big stops and, in fact, got an assist on that empty net goal.
Real gut check for the Blue Jackets after the Flyers came back once again to tie it in the 2nd period with 2 goals in 20 seconds. But after the intermission, they came back and down a couple of men, found a way to pick up 4 goals in the 3rd and help the goaltender rebound from that difficult loss in Philly.
So the Flyers drop back to 500. They'll try to climb right back above the break-even mark on Monday night, their final game before the Christmas break. The Minnesota Wild at the Wells Fargo Center. Our coverage begins with Flyers pregame live at 7 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. Here tonight, another game that was decided by a 3rd-period explosion. This time, Columbus gets the nod. For the entire crew, as well as my partners Keith Jones and Steve Coates, I'm Jim Jackson. Good night from Columbus. Stay tuned now for Flyers postgame live presented by McDonald's.